evening, good morrow, and good day, and welcome to another edition of Slice and Dice here with the Manylands campaign. This is a new thing for us for the foreseeable future, given the climate at the moment, but we're doing it all via webcams. Unfortunately, the guys are not in the room with me, but they are here on webcam. So, joining us tonight, well, they're all here, they're all waving. Great. So we've got Marshall, Bart, James, Marta, DK, and myself, which of course means we're only missing Dan. Fleeting look, so I will be filling in for him in his stead as ably as I can. But the rest of you are here, fantastic. So before we jump in,
I'm back.
Yes, by the way, you're back. So first of all, guys, do any of you have any announcements, anything you want to share about your experiences thus far, or anything else before jumping in with tonight's stream?
Shit's fucked. We're gonna have to deal with it.
Might be a little bit after the fact, but PAX East was awesome. Get Henshin, it's officially out now. It's an awesome tabletop game, RPG. If you like Power Rangers, it's definitely up your alley. And once this whole thing with the virus and the bad things, we will be probably doing some live shows in London and in other places. And I'm getting these guys involved, so watch this space. It might have been in a couple of months, but now it's probably going to be 2021.
I thought you were going to say a couple of years, and I was like, "Yep, yeah, that sounds about right."
No. Oh God, don't say that.
But nonetheless, regardless, right? Whose phone was that? I'm just kidding. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Regardless, though, you should be paying attention to the stream.
Just gonna pull out a box of popcorn halfway through this. Or immediately.
So just the one announcement from me really before jumping in. Obviously, a lot's been changing recently. Actually, no, two announcements. First of all, if you didn't see last week, we had a very special stream where we changed things up completely here on the channel. Instead was playing Prop Hunt on Gary's mod for Marta's birthday on Friday. That was good fun. Check that out. It's on the stream at the moment. I will be uploading to YouTube eventually. I'm just gonna trim it a little bit because we had a bit of a rough start to that. And yes, but it was good fun.
45 minutes late.
And it means that, yes, exactly. And it means that those of you who missed, these guys like, so Bart and Marta, and I think Marshall was tuning in on the chat for that. For those of you who missed out on that stream or didn't see what I was getting up to during those games, you can now see what I was doing while you guys were running around elsewhere on the map. So it was really good fun. And then secondly, obviously, much more serious is this is the format now for the foreseeable future, but obviously once everything's all blown over and we've hunkered down and had a nice cup of tea, we'll all be coming back together. But in the meantime, this is going to be the way forward for us. Your support is very, very much appreciated, always has been, but even more so at this time, I think, just to know that we're still putting out that content that you guys are all enjoying. And very, very finally, as you can see on the bottom left of the screen, if you're watching live on Twitch or of course on YouTube or anywhere else that you'd be watching this video, you can see that right now you can win a month's adventurous subscription because we have now released our sub perks on the channel. And those perks for subscription are several. They include emotes, they include loyalty badges, and that's just on the basic package, which is the adventurer package. You can win a month's free right now. All you got to do is write #adventurer in the chat, and I'll put you in the draw, and I will announce a winner momentarily to do with that. So yes, if you want to win a month's subscription and find out exactly what that entails, there are details on the Twitch page, just detailing what each tier of subscription gets you, and to experience it firsthand, enter that draw. Okay.
What about the emoticon?
Yeah, as I said, you get emotes. The first emote features myself with Jack Time, because that is a common feature on the stream. Have you guys all got signs that you have? Okay, brilliant.
I'm
got signs saying Jack Time. Brilliant. Okay, it's been set up from the start. That's with your adventurer subscription. You get the Jack Time emotes. Brilliant. Tier 2 subscription, that's the hero subscription package. You get your second emote with that, so you get Jack Time, but you also get a bit of Marta's shocked face from. I think it was the session when Gant Bron he just disappeared like in front of you. He just dimension doored out of the room.
Okay, thanks, bye.
After you were like, I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna kill him, and then he like grabs the child and disappears, and you were just like, what? And it was just a golden moment, and so I captured it, and now tier 2 subscribers get that emote to just to show their emotion, their shock,
Really?
and the rest of it. And the third one I'm still working on, guys, but in the background, got some very exciting things that will be coming to fruition. Obviously being delayed due to everything that's going on recently, but will be happening, include some character portraits, it includes some other business, and that will be affecting our tier 3 emotes, which is the demigod tier, the best of all. And lots of really good stuff for subscribers. Please do check it out, see what you think, and of course your comments and feedback on not just the stream but on the sub perks and the rest of it, always welcome. Always helps us improve. Anyway, all of that out of the way, it's high time I think we dive into our first remote session 32 of Slice and Dice. So here comes the intro video. And we are back. So, last time, ladies and germs, let me catch you up on what just went down in the show. So, last week, you guys, or actually in game time, I should say, it was nowhere near last week, it was much more like this week. You were on the trail of, on your way back to Hero's Landing, you came across a group of, a couple of halflings, a halfling couple, surprisingly, the Pumpajews, who were being attacked by troglodytes, these reptilian kind of swamp-like almost beings that just kind of had this mucus that dripped from them, a very unpleasant, noxious odour around them. Anyway, you made light work of the attackers. However, it seems that their son Pip was kidnapped by troglodytes at the same time, unbeknownst to them at first, probably due to the shock or something. Anyway, once you managed to subdue the troglodytes, you would then follow their trail and found a lair in a long-abandoned dwarven mine. Within, you also found, as well as more troglodytes, you found a sort of leader of the group, a giant froglodyte, for want of a better expression. Thank you, Marshall, for that. The froglodyte, which is the title of session 31 because it was such a great title. Anyway, seemed to be leading them, and also seemed to have this innate ability. It was a powerful foe. It was stood 8 feet tall. It had a giant maw that it could, and a very long tongue, which was very adhesive and could latch onto party members and pull them, and in fact, in Steph's case, managed to actually swallow him whole for a time before the rest of the party could free him.
We weren't going to talk about that anymore.
That's okay. It's not in character. But just for clarity, we need to mention that happened. So yes, that was a thing. And then once you were saved,
Still alive?
He lived to tell the tale just about. It was touch and go.
How many hit points now?
He went down to 3 hit points, I believe, Seth did.
Yeah, but in total.
In total, he went down to 3, yeah.
No, as in, like, how many does he have when he's fully...
33.
Yeah, so in one go, he was reduced to a measly 3 hit points. He was nearly killed by the beast. But you guys managed to fight it off, and it retreated further into the mine. The rest of you then followed and managed to then sort of find it in its lair. And in its lair, it had, as well as a lot of treasure. You heard the cries of this halfling child, Pip, but he was nowhere to be seen when you entered into this what used to be a dwarven meeting room. Instead, sitting on a throne made entirely of bones was this Froglodyte. And it became evident during the following combat that the Froglodyte had been had actually swallowed Pip whole, and he was inside. Fortunately, due to your quick reactions and overcoming the odds, you managed to not only slay the Froglodyte, but you also managed to bring Pip back as well, because it was looking touch and go until Brucon called upon his martial monk sage-like abilities to assess the situation and gave him the Heimlich maneuver, which managed to sort of expel the water and bile and brine and other just goo that was in his lungs. Anyway, so you managed to save Pip, and you also managed to get yourselves a lot of treasure. The most interesting items were actually, I think most of the items, in fact, were picked up by Leoberin. First of all, there was a dwarvish tome which seemed to be ciphered. It seemed to be in code, which people couldn't crack. Even Brucon, being a dwarf himself, couldn't make hide nor hair of it. But it seemed to be a ciphered volume, as I said. And the last entry was not in a cipher. It was written in common, and it just said, "I'm so cursed, the hunger," just sort of scribbled, as opposed to the fine calligraphy of the cipher. This was a lot more raw and a lot more just untidy and messy, and just looked like a desperate scribble. In addition, you also found, coming out of the Froglodyte's mouth after Pip, was a crystal ball, which Leoberin himself had been tasked with finding by the old fortune teller from the Weary Traveller back in Hero's Landing. He was meant to find it and deliver it to her sister. Apparently, the reasons for doing so would be that the lady that watches over Leoberin will know and will observe this as a heroic action. That's kind of the motivation he's been given at this time. Anyway, with you guys saving Pip, you took him back to his parents, reunited the Pumpadews, and they offered to give you a discount at their shop back in Hero's Landing, known as Pumper and Company. So, on the way back to town, the first port of call that you guys have gone for at Hero's Landing is to go to the temple there. I think we're having a bit of problems with Marshall not being able to hear us. I think he's losing chunks. You're okay. Okay, good. Sorry, there may be some teething problems today, ladies and gentlemen, but do stick with us. It's much appreciated. Anyway, so your first port of call, guys, you decide to go to the temple in Hero's Landing to see if you can find some cure to the three members of your group that have been struck with lycanthropy, those being two nobles and your own fleeting look, who have all succumbed to lycanthropy currently. They are not in werewolf form, but night is drawing in and there's a fear that they could turn again. And as you guys approached the temple, Seth had a voice whisper in his ear, a voice that has plagued him for quite some time now, along with the black coin that will not leave his person. They have offered a bargain to Seth to take his services as sort of an agent of the voice, and in payment, the curse upon his friend Fleeting Look, and the curse upon himself, because Seth still is plagued with the with the ring of alertness and the curse of shouting "Alert! Danger! Alert!" every time he is attacked. Or observed to be attacked.
Every time he's in danger.
In danger, exactly. Still plagues him. But the offer has been to remove those curses. All you have to do is bring yourself and Fleeting Look back to the altar underneath Flaming Jacks. So that was the offer you were given just as you were about to head towards the temple, and that is where we pick things up for today. So, starting with the main bulk of the group, we'll get to Naeris in time. I'm sorry, you're going to be a passenger for a little bit here, Marta, but we will.
Okay.
You'll have your moment, though. You will have your moment, I guarantee. So over to the rest of you then, with thoughts of Naeris on your mind, given everything that's happened so far, given this this hostage situation and this abducted child, this naive and sweet boy that was taken by the troglodytes. This seems to be foreshadowing and echoing what may lie ahead for your dear party member Naeris. You're heading towards the temple. The temple here at Heroes Landing is actually that of Ruish. It takes. You see as you start approaching it that it takes the shape of a. It's almost mountain-like in this its conical shape. It's sort of very much in touch with nature, but also that of change. It seems to be relatively well kept. Heroes Landing itself is in pretty good condition. There's remnants of what was left of Festiva, which happened only one day prior. What do you want to do?
We all look at Malar.
Malar's
I guess I know who Ruesh is. I will gesticulate into the temple and sort of insist, like, how low is the sun on the horizon?
So it's about 6 p.m, so the sun is setting at this time. It's casting an orange glow over the town.
Advocate that we get into the temple with our lycanthropic charges. Post haste.
All right, and immediately the guys in your charge will follow you. Fleeting Look just kind of nods along, starts scratching his ear a little bit. Seems quite content, but he's more looking towards Seth to see what Seth wants to do.
I probably
I'll
poke
follow
Seth
Malar.
as he looks a little bit more distracted than most if he's having a conversation with that bloody coin. Oh, Mr. Seth, come quickly, I must insist.
I'll be like, yep, Fleeting, come in, come on, hurry up.
Sure, of course, Bezzy, yeah.
Then, yeah,
And so you all start heading inside.
When we get in, Malar will start to call out for the priest, whose name I can't bother to look up now because I'm in bed on my back.
To be fair, you haven't entered this temple before, so.
Oh, have we not?
No.
Then I will just start to call out for the priest.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me, sir. Yeah, hello.
And
Can a man get some salvation around here?
popping,
General service.
you hear from behind. So I should describe this for you. So inside the Temple of Ruish, it's sort of located basically overlooking the beach on the coast here at Heroes Landing. It's very much nautical wave themed. I mean, this town is more of a sort of looks like it was more of a port or an ancient kind of porting village. Historically, it was one that halflings sailed over from across the Star Sea. Many of them sort of landed here at Heroes Landing during the time of the dragons. This is well documented, and most of you will be familiar with this. Inside the temple itself, there are murals very much wave themed, lots of blues, greys. You see there are some murals of mermaids, of sea life, and other sort of nautical memorabilia. But it's quite simply adorned. There's also pictures of mountains, and at the very centre, which for you, Malar, this is indicative of Ruish. Most of the gods or temples normally have the altar to one end of the building, so that you can see it as you come in. However, it's very much the altar is at the centre, and it's slightly raised from the rest of the temple, and upon it you see a golden conch shell sort of bust, which again is a sign, sort of a token of Ruish, who was once rumoured apparently to use the conch to reshape the world. So it's just a token symbol from that. Anyway, from behind the altar, you hear a voice go, "Priestess, actually," and a halfling just kind of pops her head over the top. She's got blonde, flowing plaits, and seems to greet you all with a very charming, big, wide smile, and sort of rushes over to you in her elegant royal blue robes. Oh, so you're Are you? I'm sure you get this all the time. Are you Malar Shade Creek by any chance?
No.
Oh, I would be Deacon Malar Shade Creek.
Yes, of course,
Yeah,
of course.
that's correct.
Of course. Sorry, Priestess Layla Waterweird. Pleasure to meet you. I've heard a lot about you. In fact, Thea Amakir was asking after you only the other day. We commune with many of the priests, you know. Ventrix II mentioned you were on some kind of mission of sorts. I lose track of what he says a lot of the time. He has a strange patter in his speech.
Just double check the first name very quickly. Was that Rayla?
Layla.
Layla.
Layla. You got me on my knees, Layla, in prayer, obviously. Anyway, yes, it's Layla. I do apologise. The face palms. I feel the face palms. All right. Okay. Yes. Her name is Layla.
Oh, yes. Ventrix was indeed accurate in his assumptions. In his statements, we were on a mission, and we have since returned somewhat successful in our endeavors. However, I beseech your aid. Like back to the Fleeting and Company. We have need of some curse removal, if you have that at your disposal. Man.
Oh, well, I'm very sorry to hear that. And she does furrows the brow, looks concerned, and sort of. Did you gesticulate towards the afflicted people, or? I wasn't quite sure.
Yes.
You did. Okay. She just looks over the three of them and I just examines them over. What do you, are you aware of what this curse may be? Obviously, I will do what I can, but it may be beyond my skill.
It would be lycanthropy.
Lycanthropy, you say? This isn't a jape, is it, Mr. Shade Creek? I have heard much in fairy tales about lycanthropy, but never. Oh dear. I'm not sure whether I have the facilities for this. Bear with me 1 second. I just need to consult the books. Do please help yourself to whatever you should need. I can see you've been travelling for quite some time. Here, and she just kind of reaches underneath the altar and pulls forth 2 health potions. Just pops them on the altar. They're yours, my friend. It is good to see you safe.
We're accumulating these things.
You are stockpiling these things, giving them out like it's going out of fashion. Let me consult the books. I'll see what I can do. And she just busy herself. She runs to one side. There's sort of a small antechamber to one side, closed off, some sort of vestry, and she just kind of goes inside, leaving you guys relatively alone. There are a few sailors and the like inside, giving their sort of penance towards Bruish, as the god of change, the goddess of change, is very popular with seafarers. So you see, there's a few in there, but you're relatively alone at this time. Is there anything that else you guys like to do or discuss at this time?
Malar takes a seat and quietly puts away the 2 healing potions and spends some time in quiet meditation.
We still got that pole.
Yes.
And the runes on it we were able to decode. They seemed to be just the sort of manufacturer's mark. That was as much as we were able to figure out from it. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
So it's unlikely that there's a lot without having Naeris. That'd be the only possible other way we could find out a bit more about that. Unless, is it Brucon? Are we okay stipulating that Brucon wound up with it, or? I guess it would probably be Malar. Anyway, Brucon sort of looks around and goes, "Is there anyone around here who might possibly be able to do some sort of detection job on this item and see if we learn a little more about its nature, its use, its value, anything of that kind. When I say value, I want to emphasize I'm not looking to sell this thing. Not thinking about that at all. No way, shape, or form am I considering selling this artifact.
Well,
Because
would
no,
the shops be,
we're going
would
to,
the shops be
however.
open at this time?
So it's about 6. It's just after 6, so the shops realistically would be closing. But you may be able to catch one of them, perhaps, just as they're closing. If you're
I was
lucky.
thinking in the temple.
Oh, in the temple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just looking for some sort of detect magic spell, some kind of not detect magic, like an identify item kind of thing.
Sure.
Brucon's not really a magic guy.
Yeah.
So it's just sort of
Make
like,
make
this is a
a
magical place. Magical things happen here.
make a persuasion check.
You figure it out. Persuasion.
Persuasion.
The first check of the stream. Right. Hang on.
All very exciting.
Ability. Oh, hang on. I'm looking literally at the page that tells me. Perception, you're saying?
No. Persuasion.
Oh, persuasion. Sorry, persuasion. Yeah, that would make more sense, wouldn't it? Cool. Okay, here we go. He rolled a 9.
A 9. Okay.
That's your favourite number to roll.
9.
19.
The so the
They called it a 9.
there's a few sailors and such inside the temple. A 9, and they kind of look up at you speaking for 1 second, then kind of just shrug it off and go back to what they're doing. But there is one that kind of holds your gaze. He's looks like he's fairly weather beaten, salt and pepper hair. It's quite straggly, sort of shoulder length, with also a particularly unkempt beard, which he just kind of plays with for a second. Yeah, I could have a look at that for you if you like. He holds out like a heavily tattooed
that's very
hand.
generous of you. Thank you.
Looks like a man in his sort of 50s-ish. And he sort of takes the pole from you. Yeah, see, what you got here is yes, it's like some kind of pole.
Amazing. I can tell you've spent many years acquiring the skills necessary to make this kind of determination.
My eyes don't deceive me, no.
Anything else?
It's where there's a button on one side.
Yes.
If you just press the button there, it might do something. So
It might, yes. Any ideas about what that might possibly be? Like, say,
Press it.
for instance, hypothetically, if pressing the button caused the person who pressed it to instantly and horrifyingly disintegrate, maybe that would be a useful thing to know ahead of time.
sure it would, but you know, that's as far as my eyes can see. It seems you need to press the button to see what it does.
Press
I
it.
see. Well, thank you for your help.
You're welcome. He just sits back down.
Well, struck out there. It was worth a punt.
Oh,
No.
Mr. Brucon, let me take a look at that pole, would you?
Push it real good.
We had that kind of relationship, my love. thanks, James. You be my guest. Go right ahead.
Oh, between a man and his priest, there are no secrets. I would like to
Well,
push the
alright.
button.
Okay, you push the button, and suddenly this
Who are you aiming at?
good point.
From my screen, it's Brucon.
So you point.
Yep.
You're pointing this thing at Brucon, and you press the button.
Well,
and with
Like
a
you've never seen Star Wars. A lightsaber's gonna
just
come out of it.
yeah, and with a slight, it's like sliding. The pole that was once a 1-foot baton then extends out, hitting Brucon. Fortunately, not doing any damage at this time. It kind of flexes a little bit and pushes you out the way. Extends to 10 feet long. You have a pole of collapsing. Congratulations.
I collapsed the pole.
Yeah,
Press it again.
because they probably don't want to call
And
it.
I hand it back to Brucon. Appears you have a pole of collapsing, Mr. Brucon.
Well, splendid. It extends to considerably to a fair bit more than double my height. So this has all kinds of uses, I'm sure.
You're gonna use it for like some stunt where
So
you
much
get
parkour is
10
gonna
feet
happen.
up high, and then you're gonna come down like elbow on someone or something.
I am Brucon, the pole vaulting monk. Yes, excellent. It could work. I'm just saying, there's plenty of uses for a collapsing pole. Anyway, so with this revelation, you then you see Layla bustling back over to you. She's got a large tome in hand, and just seems to be furrowing, like flicking through the pages, looking a concerned look on her face. So I've been looking this up. I mean, this kind of curse is not something that I can just cure you of. It requires powers that are beyond my skill. There was apparently centuries ago there were these mythic-like vials that could cure curses. I have not seen one myself, though there may still be some in existence somewhere within Burekrin and beyond. But there are things I can do, but it would only sort of stave the tide. This would be beyond my skill to remove such a curse. If I could borrow the three patients, I may not be able to cure them of the curse, but perhaps I can alleviate things tonight, just to make the night more passable for you all. If that would be something you'd be interested in.
Sleeping on the back,
indeed.
pushing forward.
If you're offering a werewolf daycare facility, well, night care facility, I suppose, then far be it for us to say no.
It may take some time, but I believe I have the necessary components. I could perform some kind of a ritual on the three of them, and hopefully that would help you all in this time of need. But I think for security, given that it is in fact lycanthropy, perhaps we should close the temple and lock them inside. With myself, obviously, I'll be doing the ritual just to make sure that if the worst happens, that they're not let loose on the town. That would not be would be good for anyone.
Brucon looks at Malar and says, "I just want to be absolutely certain here. Seems to me this person very nobly is offering to run the risk of being torn to shreds in a horrific and violent fashion should things go wrong. You okay with this?"
Oh, I will be here assisting, if that's quite all right, Priestess Layla. So she will not be alone, Mr. Brucon. I will be here with her.
You take your life in your hands, Mr. Shade Creek. I wouldn't want to speak for you, but your help is appreciated nonetheless. Right. Many hands make light work, as they say, and given my small hands and your rather large ones, so we should make quite a pair.
I feel like as the bow wow music starts playing, we all start backing up the temple.
Okay, so if you're going to stay inside the Malar to perform the ritual, we've just lost Marshall, which does change our display slightly. That's okay. We'll roll with the punches. He'll be back. Okay.
If he's gone for the rest of the stream, we say he used to be a werewolf. Practice on him and push him and just leave him there as well.
I love that. Right now, at least the way I'm seeing the stream, just DK's face with a massive Bart sticker.
All about that DK.
I have. It's thing is, I'm just gonna move the name tags out of the way. I think. Anyway,
right.
we'll just leave it for now. Leave it for now. Roll with the punches.
If the people in the church are fine with taking our werewolf problems off our hands for a day, we'll make our leave for the evening.
Sure.
At the risk of getting slightly meta about this, I really wasn't expecting Malar to volunteer there. You, Dan, Malar is in much more need of a long rest than Brucon is. I tell you what, let's make this in character. Brucon sort of, is sat there troubled by this and says, Malar, you've been through quite a lot, and I'm sure you need to commune with Jeffrey or Archibald or whatever the name of your particular deity is. I'm sorry, I don't have the head for these things. But anyway, it seems to be foolish in the extreme for you to risk yourself after such a trying time. I would be more than happy to assist Priestess Waterweird in your stead, if that would be more useful.
You are right, Mr. Brucon. My blessings of the aid are somewhat diminished. Will this be quite all right, Priestess Waterweird? You sure? I could do with the rest.
Again, I reiterate that you take your life in your own hands, but if that is what if you insist, I will not refuse the help.
So Brucon goes,
Brucon, if you are sure.
I'm willing. I need just an hour to prepare myself and ensure that I'm at the most useful I can possibly be should violence befall. So if you wouldn't mind, I'm just going to nip off, and Brucon kind of goes hunting for a comfortable corner in which to meditate and take a short rest.
Great. Fortunately, that's just the amount of time I need to prepare the ritual. Fate seems to smile upon us. I do hope that Ruish can help change your fortunes. As for the rest of you,
takes up station by the conch and assumes the lotus position.
Excellent. I would expect nothing less. So, as for the rest of you, Malar, are you staying in the temple, or are you going with the others outside? Because you need a long rest.
I will depart and leave with the others.
Okay, so those of you going outside, was there anything that you wanted to do at this time, or did you just want to kind of station yourselves outside in case something happens?
Are we staying near the church, or are we going somewhere else? We still need to return the seal to the current chancellor here.
Can we get lodgings near the church whilst one of us, or James, you go and return the seal?
I don't like her.
Do you want Malar to do it?
Is this because she's
Yeah.
a fan of?
They were
Malar
all
will.
dicks who let our prisoner.
Oh, her, right, okay.
Okay. Malar will take the seal and stomp off to find. Mr. Seth, I will take care of this. If you could find us lodgings, preferably adjacent or as close to this as you can, I will meet you back here. Post haste.
Sounds good. We'll meet you at the same inn that we were in last time.
Very good.
So me and Leo will head off towards the inn.
Okay. So you two head off towards the inn. We'll catch up with you guys momentarily. Sorry, Malar, what did you say you were doing?
I'm returning the seal to the local councillor.
Ah, good. Okay. All right. So you head off in that direction, doing that. Brucon, you are meditating, ready for what's to unfold with Fleeting Look and the other two lycanthropic individuals with you.
Although I don't like how you phrase that, but yes.
Preparing stealing yourself.
Just healed up.
And at which point I'm going to jump over to Marta and to Naeris, because it's been a hell of a long time since we've heard from Naeris. So what's been going on there?
I don't know if I still know how to play.
Well, fortunately,
What do?
you never forget. It's like riding a bike. Don't you worry. What do roll mean?
What do role plays do? What?
When they took her, she got hit in the head.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
So, Naeris, when you come to, after being knocked out, after seeing an old acquaintance, one who's been hunting you back when you were living in Kothar, he was one of the reasons that you fled, and then seeing him inside your aunt and uncle's house, ambushing you inside the bedroom. That was the last thing you saw before you were knocked unconscious. When you come to, You notice the air around you is rather still. It's rather warm, kind of. Your breath comes back to your lungs, but it feels quite oppressive here. It doesn't feel. It doesn't. The air feels very dirty, not very clean, as if you are some way underground. It's quite stuffy. You open your eyes and you're looking straight at the ceiling. It's just a rocky, natural. It seems you're within a cave of some variety. And turning and getting your bearings, the ground below you, dusty, ground up rock. Again, it seems that it seems mostly natural. The only thing that is unnatural in the chamber that you're currently in, it's rather small. It's perhaps a grotto, but there is a man-made door. Seems to be just made of wood, but it has iron hinges, and is currently closed at this time. There is one other thing that does take your notice straight away, and that is there is a gap in the rock wall to one side. It is a rather narrow gap. You could feasibly probably stick most of your arm through it, but you wouldn't be able to get any more than that. You wouldn't be able to get your shoulder through, for instance. And you can see that there is eyes looking back at you through this slit, but not those of the red mages, not an malevolent force. This seems to be somebody who looks very scared, but also relieved at you coming to consciousness, and you hear them say, "Oh, Naeris, I'm so glad you're safe." And you recognise immediately this is the same voice that you heard before back at the workshop. It's the voice of your aunt. And it looks just and it.
Again, I forgot.
I just.
Named Auntie.
Funnily enough, I momentarily just forgot then as well, but I.
Completely. I say her name.
I've got it here. I can't believe I didn't think about that. I just said something like, "Wait, what's her name?" Oh God, hang on, bear with me. I've got it here.
Yes, he's back.
Oh, he's back. I will
Marshall,
readjust the
very urgent
names
question.
momentarily.
What's Naeris' aunt's name?
Oh.
None of us fucking know. I'm just trying to find. God, it was so long ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's
So long ago.
October.
It was a while ago. Do you know what? I've got a document with that stuff. Your uncle Brynlan and your aunt Argentia. Thank you.
I remembered.
I'm
Yay!
glad you remembered. It is Art Argentia. You say her name. Oh.
So.
Then I failed. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I failed you. I was meant to keep you safe, and now you're here.
But you were. What happened? If I feel back, do I feel any thud or anything?
Oh yeah, there's a big old raspberry on the back of your head. Not a literal raspberry. Oh, no.
No. My head hurt. What? Damon was here.
Yes.
What? Were you working with Damon?
No. Of course not. They have doppelgangers, Naeris. They have shapeshifters. They have been gloating somewhat about their plans. I am being left here helpless for days.
How long have I been down here? How long have you been? Where is here?
You've only just arrived. You've been unconscious the whole time you were here. I think possibly the best part of a day or so. I was worried you would never come to, but thank goodness you are more resilient, just like your parents.
Where is here?
I don't know. They knocked me out the same as you. I don't know how long I've been here. I don't know. Sorry. Yes. They have got to us already. They.
So you can see her starting to get worked up. So you can see her starting to get a little heated, quite literally.
Inspiration.
Hey. If you permit, you could even see a little bit of a heat ripple come off her skin. Like
Yeah.
distortion, yeah.
Yeah, of course. That
So
makes
great.
total sense for you. Yeah.
And she clenches her fists and she looks at the door and she unleashes an there you go for it. Roleplay. An Aganazar Scorcher at the door.
Oh wow. Second level. Big guns. All right.
She's pissed.
You want to?
She's pissed.
You remember your spells.
So you're doing all 3 of those straight at the door, right?
Yeah, so everything she's got, she's just gonna full on explosive. Hello, Naeris is back.
All
This
right.
might backfire horribly, but there will be fire.
Okay, so I'll say you don't need to roll the damage on this, but you just destroy the door. It just flies off its hinges in just a fireball, just explodes open. These flaming shards descend around the area.
Anybody that gets hit behind it?
No, it seems that you just hear the echo of the explosion. It seems that this particular area is relatively abandoned at this time. There doesn't seem to be any other creatures in sight or that you can hear.
Okay, so she says to her aunt, "I'm getting to the bottom of this and getting out. We're both getting out of here right now." And she walks. Well, she waits for a reply.
Be careful! This might be a trick. They do like to trick us. They've been toying with me for days. I never thought I'd see anyone again.
Well, hopefully I'll be the last thing they ever see. She walks off.
All right. So when you walk through the doorway, you can see that there are similarly there are other grottos in this area. All seem to be. It seems like it was once natural rock, but it seems it may have been carved, like a rudimentary sort of carving out of these grottos, as well as there are 3 other doors in line with your one. One of which you can deduce that your aunt is behind the nearest one.
What's the handle like on these? Like, I know iron hinges, but like, what's the locking mechanism like?
It seems
I didn't look at the one that I just destroyed.
Sure. Okay. So they look like just regular key locks.
Mm-hmm.
Below the handle, they have turning handles.
I want to get my hand out. Right. I don't want to blow the door into her cell.
It's a wise
That
idea.
would be bad. Would. I guess firebolt would again destroy everything. Burning hands, burn the door down.
I should note at this time that you also don't have your items with you. It's literally just the clothes on your back. But obviously you've got your spells, but you won't be able to perform spells that have material components just because you don't have the materials to hand or an arcane focus or anything like that. But still, I think most of your spells you're probably okay with. Just keep that in mind.
I don't need stuff.
Yeah. So open this door. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. She checks which door it is that her aunt is in. Bless you.
Thank you.
And she's like, "I'll be back to come get you, just to get my stuff to get you out of here." So
Be careful. Don't let them catch you.
they better not see me. Anyways, she walks off. So you said the corridor goes down, but there's these 3 doors.
Yes, you got a corridor leading out of this area, and then there's the 3. It appears to be cell doors. Yeah, and then it just ends.
Little windows, or just completely solid doors?
At this time, it seems to be they are. There's no windows. Each door has a number on it, though.
Can I take note of the numbers?
You can. First thing to note is it's written in Draconic.
Interesting.
Which you understand because of your background that Kothar and the Red Mages, Draconic is the most commonly used language. Particularly amongst the Red Mages, they almost exclusively speak in Draconic. But yes, so the numbers are 2 through 4, so 2, 3, and 4.
And Argentia is in which?
2.
2. Yeah. Salute. Right. So I'm assuming that the corridor is okay with my dark vision. I can see okay.
Yeah, you can see it. It's fortunate you have your dark vision. There's nothing really lit in this area. There's no natural light here.
So I want to, before I continue completely past the doors and down the corridor, can I do a little perception check?
Of course, go for it. What are you looking for?
I mean, like ceilings, checking ceilings.
Yep.
And walls, but ceilings.
Sure.
Oh, that's not good.
Thank you, Marshall. Thank you.
That's 6.
Yep, there's a ceiling. It's you are in an enclosed space. Again, it seems natural rock for the most part. It seems very still, other than yourself, and every movement you make, it seems to be amplified. Perhaps it's because you're so heightened and aware at this time that you're trying to, keep quiet, or perhaps because there just generally isn't any noise other than yourself in this area, and the breathing of your aunt, who sounds very laboured. Sounds like she's, flustered, to say the least.
Okay. So I'm going to proceed with caution.
All right.
Down the corridor and listening out for any changes or ripples that I can assist.
Super sneaky. Make a stealth check, please.
With a furrowed brow.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Walking with purpose. Yeah, make a stealth check, please.
Ooh, it is. Let me check. That is 20. Non-natural.
Very good. 20. Okay. So following the corridor down a little way, you then notice that this corridor sort of winds round a corner and then opens up into a much larger chamber. Again, you can see that there are the natural elements here. There are stalactites, stalagmites, and the rest of it. However, there are also...
There's what? There's what? Sorry, you just cut up.
Oh, sorry. There are stalagmites, stalactites, natural cavern features. But there also seems to be some architecture, some craftsmanship. At this time, make a history check for me, please.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Ah.
Hestra, that is 14.
14. Okay, so you see that there are a couple of columns that have been put in place in particular. You recognise that this as dwarven. It would appear this is indicative of Burikrin. Obviously, this is the largest nation of dwarves in the Manylands, so leads you to believe that you haven't left Burikrin. But yes, this appears to be a abandoned once dwarven settlement.
Okay.
But so you seeing this larger chamber, just as you're examining this, one thing that does catch your attention is that you're not alone in this room. You can hear the slow creak of one humanoid you get a glance at standing by a wall. Its movement seems very stilted, and it seems to creak and crack with every movement, like. very.
Okay.
It's hard to tell how much more about their form, but it seems that they seem to be armored. You're hearing the chinks of armor. Sounds like plate or half plate.
So, I want to hide behind one of the cave features.
Yep. So you've already got a 20. So I won't make you re-roll at this time. So yeah, you can duck behind. You can duck behind one of the pillars nearest to the entrance that you're in. You can take a look further into this chamber. It's quite large. Make a perception check, please.
Alright. For a second, I was worried that was a 1. That is 10.
10. Okay. So looking about this place, that one humanoid that got your attention, you notice there are at least 2 or 3 more in your immediate vicinity, with more further back that you don't get a good look at, but you get the sense there are more bodies here moving around. You feel that there is some air coming in, like a gust of wind coming in, and you notice the first humanoid that you'd seen, some cloth that seems to be hanging from it. It does seem to be blowing gently from a passageway. It would seem to be behind them, and you also observe right on the edge of your dark vision at the opposite end of this corridor. It seems to be a narrow passageway leading downhill, and you can't see where it ends up.
So it's because you were cutting out a little bit while you were saying things.
Oh,
so basically,
no.
there's a corridor. No, I'll put it together. So basically, the next exit out of this hall, apart from the one that I came through, is on the opposite side of this hall.
Yeah, there's one on the opposite side, but there's
It's
also
going downhill.
Yep, but there is also one more to your left, sort of in the middle of this chamber,
Okay.
on the left side.
I would like to attempt to sneak to the nearest. I'm guessing that's gonna be the side.
Yep.
Exit.
Make a stealth check for me.
That is 16.
16.
Please.
So you sneak up, but you notice that you manage to stop yourself before you're seen. That behind this one humanoid that's barely moving, there is another one which is standing directly overlooking that passageway. He's standing almost like a guard to attention at the edge of this passageway. You see a shield and spear in hand. So you duck behind another pillar, actually into more of a natural rock face on one side, leaving you barely 10 feet from the first humanoid. Good shout, James, reading that. Barely 10 feet from you, but with this close proximity, you can observe that this one is this one is not living. It seems to be some kind of undead, and you get, with your dark vision, you get to look below the helmet that it's wearing. This appears to be a skeleton. It appears that this room is full of skeletons in armor. And also, now that you're at this distance, you recognize that these are all dwarven, it seems. They're about 4 to 4.5 feet tall.
So I want to. Are there any rocks or things that are next to me?
Make an investigation check.
That's a good roll. Sorry, I don't know these by heart. That's 18.
18. You find a whole bunch of rocks. Find some alabaster and stuff.
Yeah.
It seems there was
score.
alabaster as well. For some reason, it's not a rock. But anyway, you find a load of pebbles and some. It looks like some shale and so on that has been dislodged from the wall nearest to you.
Grab like your bog standard palm-sized rock.
Okay. Yep, you got one.
And try to hurl it towards the other entrance.
As in the one you came from, or the one further down?
No, the one on the far side.
Okay. All right. So this will be an improvised ranged attack. So make an attack roll, and then you just add your dexterity bonus. You don't add your proficiency bonus to this.
Okay, that's not a lot. That's
Okay.
not good.
Or strength if you prefer. Strength's good.
No, that's worse.
Okay.
I don't prefer strength at all.
So
I prefer charisma.
wait, attack is d20, right? Just remind me.
Yep.
Yeah. Roll a d20.
Plus dexterity.
Your dex modifier. Yes, please.
Yes, that is 8. That is not good.
Okay. One of the problems you have is that
It's not 1 though.
it's not one. The problem you have is that the skeleton in front of you is kind of obstructing your view of the next entrance. So you go to throw, trying to sort of account to get it over him. Instead, the rock doesn't reach him. It just lands on the floor, sort of in the center of the chamber, and immediately you see them, and they all just look at the rock in the ground. The one nearest you starts heading towards the rock on the ground there, just moves 10 feet away and just starts looking around.
I can't see your
Yeah,
map.
no, I haven't got a map up
You were
yet.
moving
This was
it. Oh,
theatre of
right,
the
okay.
mind, but I have got a map.
Oh, okay.
I've got a map just in case. In fact, you know what? I will. You know what? I will bring up a map. Here
No,
you go.
I was just because you were just there. I'm like, I don't know where there is.
There you go. I'll unveil the map.
I can do a middleman job here as well. By the way, so it might not be necessary for people to all have the stream up. I can probably do some captures and stick them in.
That'd be great, actually. Yeah, because I appreciate not everyone can dual screen and have the bandwidth and so on. Anyway, I do have a map up now, Marta. If you
Hey.
wanted to have a look, see.
Look at all them skeletons.
Yep, I
So,
didn't.
so can you point to where the exit is? It's
So you got an exit
right
here.
there, past the.
Past these guys. The one that was here has now moved over here, looking at this rock. The rest of them seem to have the attention of this area currently. Maybe-
So all of them are looking into the middle except for that one guy. Oh, that one guy. Okay. Sorry, there's the delay.
Sorry, yes.
Watching the stream.
Yeah, they're all looking in the middle, aside from one who is the one in the middle.
But he's still looking towards the middle, but has not moved.
Yeah, he just seems to be examining the area around the rock on the ground. The rest of them are now looking towards the center, but obviously this means that those on the right-hand side of the passageway are now looking across to the left-hand side. Yeah.
Can I want to throw another rock, but to the opposite direction of the door. I want to.
Sure, throwing it off to the right, of course. Yeah, make another attack roll.
Yes. Non-natural 20.
Non-natural 20. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, you throw it, and this one connects. Did you want to hit the wall, or are you happy to hit one of the skeletons?
I'm happy to hit a skeleton in the
Okay.
in the face
Okay, you can roll a d4.
in a really comical way.
Yeah, you roll a d4.
D4. There we go. Come on. One.
One and plus your
D4
plus your dex modifier.
that's +1, so 2.
Do 2 damage. The skeleton just gets here, pang, gets hit in the helmet, and the helmet actually kind of shuts, like it shuts down on his face a bit. I mean, it's a skeleton, so it probably won't make that much difference. But anyway, it's comical. And immediately, yeah, skeletons start turning and looking at them. But no, they haven't moved yet. They're all just looking around. It seems to be.
God damn it! Are you gonna make me torch these guys?
Don't have to. I mean,
Do the thing.
I mean, to be fair, you've got them all looking in one direction now, aside from the one who's now been hit in the face. So, you know, and
okay,
they're looking the opposite
I'm gonna try
way.
to stealth past him.
Yeah, good
I'm gonna
shout.
try to stealth past him. I
Good
gotta try to do it.
Good shout. Make a
Let's
stealth
just
check,
be brave.
please. I'll say that this will be they're obviously now aware there's something going on, so they'll be listening out.
8.
8?
8.
Oh no. Okay.
I know.
Uh, you start.
I was like, that is not enough.
You start sneaking. I also rolled a natural 20 of their perception.
Because that's what you do.
That's what I do. Is my demon dice has started again.
Yeah.
It was this one. It was this green boy. He's always really good when I'm a DM, but never when I'm a player. Anyway.
Tiring Jack time to the max, and I'm going to replace it with bullshit Jack crit. This isn't coming back out until you improve your behaviour.
Yeah. Demon dice. Yeah.
Been disciplined. All right.
In chat now, taking suggestions for things to flash at Jack when he rolls.
Another
heinous.
Thursday. Yeah, exactly. Okay, tell me.
Sure.
What's gonna happen? Oh god.
Well, in true Han Solo fashion, you start trying to sneak your way past, like you're on the forest moon of Endor. Step on a twig, and the skeleton that is kind of guarding that entrance just and just looks straight over at you, looks you dead in the eyes. Well, through its eye holes, directly at you. The one that went to explore the middle also turns around, and another, and another, and I need you to roll initiative.
Oh fuck! I was just gonna.
Yeah, even if you've got to get the hell out of there, it's up to you.
20.
20. Unnatural 20, very nice. Beats my 18, so you get to go first. Let me find some appropriate music.
Jeez.
Here we go. Okay, music's up and running. Over to you. So, you're first, Naeris. What do you want to do?
I don't want to waste all my spell slots. Okay.
Do it. No, you don't have to. You've got your cantrips, of course.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna do. So let me have a look. See.
You don't have your
Can
weapons.
I
That's the
hit-
problem.
Can I hit those two closest to me with burning hands?
15-foot
Or do I
cone.
have
Yeah,
to
you
do-
can fit them in. You can fit them in.
Okay.
That's a good
Okay,
shout.
Okay. I'll cast burning hands
All
Ah.
right.
in a direction where both of them just go like, oh god, oh god.
So that's a dex save, I believe, for both of them. Is that right?
Yes, it's a dex save, and they need to 12.
Well, one succeeds, one fails. So matey without the helmet succeeds. This one fails. So yeah, roll some damage, please.
So that is 3d6.
Yep.
Actually 4d6 because it's next level.
Oh, you cast it at second level. Oh, boss.
Yeah, because I freaked out.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. That's valid.
That dude. Oh, that I get another one. Didn't take my own. Let's take this one. Trying to. Okay, so he takes 15 points of damage.
15
Yeah, that's
damage.
it's 4d6 and nothing extra. Or am I?
Alrighty.
I'm looking at this. It's 4d6 and no plus. So
And then
that's fine.
7 for the one who succeeded because it's halved. Yeah, they're both still standing, but the first one, the one that took the brunt of the damage, his clothes will just start burning away. So you've now got a flaming skull looking at you. You're also now, of course, it's been a little while for Naeris, so just to remind everyone that also when you channel your fire energy, your flames just kind of engulf all of you. Your skin is. You don't feel it, of course, you're fine, but basically it's burning to the touch. You're just fire is just enveloped all around you at this time, lighting you up and also drawing the attention of most of the other skeletons in the room. So, are you moving at all?
Yes, I am going as far down that corridor as possible.
All right, cool. Off the map, brilliant. You do get through there.
That's right.
That's totally fine. I have other things for this. I'm totally prepared, he says, grasping at things. Like, shit, you've got to the corridor.
No one here is going to give you shit for not being sufficiently prepared for this.
So, you...
And suddenly, all the skeletons go pro.
No! I am
Pure
shocked and
shock.
appalled. Pure shock. Actually, let's put him over here. So you run into another room.
I ran to what? Sorry.
So you run through that passageway. You emerge in another
Yeah.
room. This one seems the ceiling is very high here. It's like maybe 30 feet up. It's a long way up. You notice to your right that there is a corridor that seems to have. It seems that part of this chamber has collapsed and has fallen down. There is just smoke to. Coming up to the level of the crevasse. The crevasse below is completely covered in smoke. You can't see down there. It's heavily obscured. Oh, we've just lost Dan, DK. Anyway, no problem. He'll come back. They always come back. Anyway,
It wasn't me.
it wasn't you. Yeah. He's
Yeah,
back. There we go.
he's back.
It was thick with smoke below, so that you can't see down there. To your left, you can see that there is there is an opening in
So
the cavern wall.
crevasse is
Yeah.
in front of me, or
To your
Okay.
right.
to my right? Okay.
To your right is a crevasse and so a cliff face dropping down out of sight, obscured by smoke that just seems to envelop the area. And to the edge of your dark vision, that smoke continues, and that sort of collapsed area continues. You can't see beyond it at this time. You see on your left that there is a passageway, and ahead of you also a passageway at the end of the corridor here. So you've got two other entrances. Otherwise, it's more sort of dwarven architecture and natural stone combined.
Okay.
So all of your movement will get you to about here.
Okay. Well, they have a turn, don't?
They do have a turn.
I don't have anything. I did
Unless
a
you have a-
thing and I ran.
Yeah, unless you have a bonus action, because you used an action.
Is an perception check, like, to see if there's anything about the differentiate these two visible.
Oh, sure. I'll let you do that.
ways.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Just a quick. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem at all.
That is. It's hard to read sometimes. Perception. Which one is it? Perception or investigation? You're allowing me to do.
Perception. Just as you're running through.
So non-natural 20.
Non-natural 20. What was it you were looking for?
So I'm looking for anything like basically I'm looking for gusts of wind and air.
Ah.
And anything else that differentiates these two.
Okay, so the
but
wind.
primarily the air.
Yeah, no problem. So the wind is more. It seems to be coming from the right. So where the crevasse is and all the smoke, it seems that the wind actually it seems to be coming from a chamber further along this room, and in fact that is what's keeping the smoke down to that level. The smoke would be billowing out into the entirety of the chamber were it not for this wind that seems to be keeping it contained within that sunken area of the chamber. The difference that you get between the two, so the right-hand side, the left-hand side of you, which is where I put the red handkerchief, you get a glance. You can see through the doorway at this time. You can see that there are some carved steps leading upwards from there, and ahead of you, the passage. You can't see the passageway, but it seems to go immediately in either left or right, as there is a stone wall just beyond the entranceway.
So the one that
Straight
doesn't
ahead.
have the air coming through.
I'm sorry, say that again.
The one that isn't the one with the air has the red handkerchief.
Yeah, and there's also
Yeah.
another one. There's another one with the white handkerchief, which I'm just putting down there, which also doesn't have air coming from it. The air is coming from beyond the smoke.
I'm
Do-
confused. So there's the one on my left that
Yeah.
has the red handkerchief. That's the closest.
Yeah, that's the
and has
closest.
little yeah, and then further down there's another one,
Yep.
and there's another one.
So it seems that the chamber continues beyond the edge of your dark vision, where the sunken bit where the smoke is. It seems that there is more to this room further along, but you just can't see that far.
Okay. And the red has some steps going up. Okay,
Yep.
Cool. Thank you.
No problem. Anything else you need to know?
Not for now.
Cool.
Yes, I'm assuming there's no light coming from it.
Not currently, no.
Okay.
Okay, so at the end of your turn, skeletons start following. Now, because you ran, they're not all going to be able to reach you. In fact, I think only one of them was close enough to actually be in touching distance of you. Runs up to
no,
you.
he's gonna touch me. Chris.
As I said, armed
No touching.
armed with a spear and a shield, makes a lunge at you with it. Okay, well I rolled a 4, so that's going to be an 8, which will miss. I'm pretty sure. Just tries to take a swipe at you and misses. Another one also enters the room. He can't get close enough to you with his spear, so he just opts to run and try and cut you off, coming in front of you. So he hasn't attacked, but he's just in front of you at this time. And you can hear that others are following from behind in the cavern. Your turn. What are you doing?
I'm going up the route with a handkerchief.
Alrighty. You start running that way. Cutscene.
I'm
Really-
just gonna make this.
You're really
I'm
making me
gonna
work for this.
Yeah, I really just keep taking routes that take me off the map. So you have to keep building it.
Right. Here we go. Let's do it this way because
Okay,
it looks cool.
very much enjoying that.
You start. You run up some stairs. It's a narrow corridor. Just with your normal movement, you can get to about there.
Okay.
Yep, they are very much, as Bart has just said in the chat, that they can never confirm nor deny the existence of a private chat for the party. But you put it in the public chat, it comes up.
I said I can neither confirm nor deny. Surely you know what that means by now.
It means I can't confirm nor deny it. They're basically laughing while you're fighting for it. Anyway, with your movement, you get to about there. You can, of course, dash as an action to make you move further, or whatever else you want to do with your action that turn.
This is tough. So what can I see ahead of me again? So it just keeps going stairs, just stairs.
So you've got up the stairs. You're now running across the corridor. That's a very good point, though. You can see there is a chamber ahead. You can't really see what's in there at this time. There does seem to be... Actually, that's a good point. There is some light in there. It seems to be... there's a torch in a sconce just here, just before the doorway. There are no doors. It's open. And what you can see on the edge of your dark vision, that there seems to be some kind of slab within, a stone slab, in the center of the room.
Is there a door?
There's no door. It's open. It's an open archway.
What? Okay, this could be risky. What do I want to do? You know what? I'm gonna dash.
Run into the room. What's your passive perception?
Good question. The perception is 13.
Okay, with 13, upon entering 13, upon entering the room, you notice when you enter the room that you are not alone in there. There are two.
Some other horrible monster, and I'm gonna die again.
No. This isn't what they look like, but there are.
Tonight I'm not super convincing with Jackie.
No, of
Two-
course not. I wouldn't do that.
Two figures in red robes are flanking the doorway, and they immediately come and grab you by the arms. So this will be.
Well, I'm still on fire, am I not?
It ends at the end of your go, so
Oh, right. Okay.
for now. Obviously, next time you do it, it will be up again. But anyway, they grab you by both arms, so this will be a contested grapple check. So to escape the grapple, it's either athletics or acrobatics. Up to you.
I think both are equally shit. No, actually, acrobatics better. Okay.
What? How did you do?
That is 11.
11. 11's not enough as the first.
Doing things.
I rolled a 17 on the dice as the first one grabs you. The second one's also going to grab you, so you can make another check.
Yeah, that's a 5, so I'm sure I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've grabbed you by both arms, and then appear.
Grappled. Now make another check to be super duper grappled.
Because you're now grappled on both arms. You are now restrained. And at the end of the corridor, just of the chamber, appearing from behind, it seems an alcove to one side, you see the smirking face of the half-elf you thought you'd left behind, of Damon, the Red Mage. Ah, Naeris, you're here ahead of time. Excellent. Well, I was going to drag you out here unconscious, but seeing as you're already here, I think I might enjoy this. And signals, and the two fellows start dragging you over to the slab in the centre of the room.
Oh God. So I can So is there any like? Is there any spell I can cast restraint?
Any spell that doesn't require somatic components, you can do. So if it's just verbal, you can do it. Also, you have the ability, because of your background,
Yeah, prestidigitation.
you can do prestidigitation without having to do any of those things.
Because it says I have a mark here, so it says component. Oh, it says both verbal and somatic, not just.
For the subtle spell, yeah.
Light.
No, I'm looking at this. For example, cantrips.
The only spell you can do that's not
Is prestidigitation.
somatic is light or prestidigitation with your cool.
Yeah.
You can light them.
You are illuminated.
Ready to glow sticks. So I'm just going to. Well, I guess I can't do anything. So I'm just gonna go like screaming and like, no, you bastard, you know.
You can try and get free.
Yeah, yeah, definitely that. I'm gonna be resisting as much. I'm gonna be biting, pulling,
Yeah. You do it.
scratching, kicking,
Are
start
you restrained or
voguing.
incapacitated?
No, she's.
Like, can you still make an attack?
Yeah. Attacks, physical attack, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah, you just have
So-
disadvantage because you're because of the.
I'm
condition.
gonna try to kick. I'm assuming these are guys. From
They
what you
are.
can tell?
From what you can tell, yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay. I'm
Probably.
gonna try to kick the one on the right in the nut.
Note also that
Okay.
you can cancel out the disadvantage by expending your inspiration.
That's true. So you have disadvantage currently, but if you use your inspiration, as Bart
Oh, I'm
says.
doing it.
Okay, using your inspiration, so it'll just be a normal attack roll. This is an unarmed strike, so you'd be using your strength.
So this is 12.
12. Yeah, 12.
Then plus 0.
12 is enough. They're not armored. 12 hits. So because it's an unarmed strike and
Down
you're
there's not armored.
and you're And-
You never know.
and you're
Maybe
not.
he's wearing a cup. Okay.
No one's ever
Oh, the
armed against
cup
a
of
pro
+1
shampoo.
armor class.
So because you're not. 'Cause
Chainmail kilt under there.
Ting! No, it's fine. No. So because you're not a monk, it's just your strength modifier. I think +1. I want to say.
It's 0.
So you do 1 damage.
Yeah.
And you hear
But
you hear
does that hurt?
you hear, oh, you bitch, and you've kicked a woman in the nuts. There we go. Anyway,
That
Rumors.
was sound
I love,
effect.
even with the delay, all around Jack, I see confused faces with that statement.
Who remembered
I mean,
the
it's,
famous letter
obviously.
regarding the cunt hub?
Anyway, yes, in the area, in her private area.
In the
Anyway,
area, yes.
They are not amused because of the nunny shot, so they grab, just drag you over and slam you onto the slab.
Ow.
And they start from below the slab. They pull out these metal. They look like just chain manacles, but when you get a better look at them, they're actually sort of cone shaped, and they're large enough to envelop large enough to envelop your entire hands, like Captain Marvel style, like over the hands, and they just attach them to you, start strapping belts to you, and Dama just kind of looms overhead and just laughs and says, still got a lot of fight. Well, I think you're going to need that, aren't you?
I want to spit at him.
You can attempt to spit at him. I'll say.
What kind of check is that?
That's a very hard. Make a spit check. This.
It's the same as a pee off a tower check.
Yeah. I think this will be. I think this will be intimidation.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent. That is 12.
12.
Yes, 12.
With a 12, he sees the spit coming, so he makes a dexterity save. He fails, so he just goes to move and just kind of hits him in the face, and he just wipes it off calmly and looks you in the eyes and says, "This blood better be worth it." And then
she stops going like that and looks him straight in the eye with her crazy red eyes and says, "I will burn you to the ground. You'll be nothing but ashes when I'm done with you."
Oh, you'll be burning a lot, Naeris. Your help will bring about a burning that, well, I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, you can do what you like when I'm done with you. And we're gonna cut back at that bleak moment to the rest of the party. So, first of all, yeah, chills, literal chills. Anyway.
Oh my god, like literally.
So moving back to the rest of the party, then, you guys. First of all, Malar, you've been to the council chambers to return the seal. Was there anything particular that you wanted? Anything else that you wanted to do while you were there, or was it literally just handing it back, and then we could just skip ahead to the next bit?
I was just going to hand it back and then just basically very, very briefly debrief the councillor, just sort of say a lot of people died up there, tell her about the cult of Elucia, and then
It was a shit show. You all
leave.
well out of it.
Yeah.
Did absolutely the right call, deputising other people to go and be there. Woo, boy. That's the
Well,
message, I think.
Deacon, I can only thank you for your service and for dealing with this problem. Clearly, my faith in you was well placed. Thank you.
What about the house? Well said. When we were promised a house, Westbar.
That
here.
was
in
yeah,
Hilberg.
exactly.
Not here. It was the other town over.
We've only been here for one night. We literally stayed here, went to a pub, got and
There is a
bar
second
fight.
seal,
But
which
isn't it Councillor Potter that you've gone to return the seal to? I'm clearly.
no, it's the
Different
councillor
council.
in.
You weren't here for this one.
No, this is the councillor in Heroes Landing. There were two different councillors that things have happened for. But anyway, yes, you return the seal.
We're 2 nights away from Hilberg, where that councillor is.
Oh, and as you turn to leave, Malar, she says, I don't suppose Lord Bronn is still in your company.
Oh no, we parted ways at Redfeld Manor. He is headed back to the as the crow flies.
Right. Well, now that we're in the clear, as it were, apologies for what happened with the tavern owner from Oraglor. He, Lord Bronn, basically threatened to get the entirety of House Bronn involved, and well, a fight between Burikarin and the Crowflies. I did not want to be inciting anything like that. Diplomatic immunity, blah 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 blah. I didn't want to get involved. I'm sorry for the strife that this has caused your group.
I appreciate your honesty. I think you probably took the better path there. An altercation on that scale would not have been congenial to either party. It was pleased to meet you. I will be about my way now. I have other things to deal with. I bid you good night.
And to you, and
I leave.
And yes, and a happy belated festival. And you leave. Okay, okay, that's you. So then over to Leobrin and Seth. You head to the inn. Are you just looking to rent rooms for the night?
When we get there, I'm going to say to Leo, do you mind going in to get the room sorted while I stay here with the doppelganger package and make sure nothing happens? We lose her now. She's going to be pissed.
Yes, we should definitely not leave her alone. I can organise things with building. But I definitely had signal for what it was.
If you head in, I'll stay with the carriage for now. And when he leaves, I want to talk to the doppelganger.
Okay. All right. Well, you can certainly do that. So, what would you like to say?
Just going to give a couple little knocks on the crate we currently have her in, and the crate we have it in, and just ask it one question. The people you worked for that took Naeris, was it because you believe in their cause, or because they paid you?
I so wanted to say no there, just no, but well, what can I say? I owe them everything. I wouldn't exist were it not for them, so yeah, there are some things other than money that interest me.
So, once they're gone, what will you be doing?
Well, you know, I'll have to keep myself to myself. I do have a penchant for magical items, so perhaps I'll go looking for some of those. I'll keep myself out of trouble, though.
If you truthfully take us to where Naeris was, I have a job for you afterwards. I know someone that can give you gainful employment after.
And you hear, make a persuasion check for me, please.
Cool. I'm going to use my inspiration for this.
Oh, okay. This means a lot. Okay, cool.
Drum roll.
Okay. I rolled a 2 and an 18, so I'm very glad I used inspiration.
Very good.
With my persuasion, give me 1 sec because my D&D Beyond crashed.
No!
Almost there. I'm at my ability page. So
Add 100 for rogue.
18 plus 6, so 24 persuasion.
24. In your own voice, you hear back to you. All right, got yourself a deal.
Do I have an accent like that?
No.
Don't listen to myself much.
Do I sound like that? No.
No, of course, no.
So once you've taken us to Naeris' location, you'll be free, and I'll introduce you to who can keep you busy with your very unique skills afterward.
And in Fleeting Look's voice, you hear, "Yeah, sure, bestie. Anything you want."
With that, I'll finish the conversation and stay waiting there until Leo says we've got room.
All right. So Leobrin, inside the inn, it seems to have the same jovial atmosphere that it had when you guys arrived here a couple of days ago. It is busier now. It seems that there are various townsfolk, some with sort of wheat sheaf crowns on their heads, others just in very bright colours. They seem to be this sort of hangers-on left over from the from Festiva, which obviously was the festival to begin the month of Festiva. Only yesterday. So there's much frivolity, lots of drinking. Quite a happy atmosphere here. What would you like to do?
I'm missing a lot of what's happening. I think I'm looking for rooms.
Okay. So you go up to the counter, and you recognise the red-headed bartender, the owner.
What's the name of this inn, by the way?
It's the Weary Traveller. The Weary Traveller. So yeah, you recognise the barmaid and owner. Yes, can I help you at all? You were here a couple of days ago, weren't you?
Yes, we were. We're on our way back now.
Excellent. Well, I trust you had a good time at whatever you were doing before. Sorry, you may not remember me. My mother, Morag, she was the one who was gave you a fortune telling, if I recall. Oh, you can't hear me. Oh, okay, that's an issue. Can you hear me now?
Everything is frozen.
It's frozen.
Hello, I heard
sign
that.
language to him.
Oh no. Okay, we'll try and get Marshall back, and we'll go back to Marshall. Just let us know when you can hear us. In the meantime, I'll switch over.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So she asks, if you remember her mother giving you a reading last time you were here?
Yes. I think I'm still going.
I have to. I have to apologise for her. She was. Yes, she's an odd lady, and I can say that I am her daughter. Sorry, Delta Waters.
I got the first name, Delta. Hi, Delta. Yes. Yes, your relative that I missed the connection because signal. Grandmother.
It's mother. Yes, she's not that old.
Thank you.
This is fun.
Hopefully I'll have internet by next week.
Fingers crossed. But anyway, how many rooms do you require, sir?
Some people are staying in the place which is taking care of the werewolf party. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm trying to do the numbers on who is. 3 should do. 3 should do. Thanks, chat. This is easier.
3 rooms.
Yes, 3, please.
Of course. No problem at all. That should be. Let me just check. We have 3 free for a starter. There's obviously been quite a few here with a Festiva last night, and yes. So it's 6 gold pieces for the 3 rooms, please.
6 gold pieces. very well.
Excuse me, Mr. Is Leobrin, wasn't it? Hi. And you turn around and you see the two nobles who were accompanying you on the carriages. You recognise the halfling, which was a bit embarrassed in front of you by Lord Belvedere at the ball, and you recognise. And you recognise a human as well, the one that had got a bit pally with Seth, and he's although it doesn't look like a man of such importance. You know that this is Gustav Racontel, who is a merchant essentially working for the Rumbleguts clan, and he
yes.
Given everything that you've done for us, we thought it's only right that we do something for you guys. So why don't we get this? Or should I say, why doesn't Gary here get it? And the halfling just kind of looks up and goes, yeah, because I'm the one with the money, I suppose. So yeah, I guess I'll get it then. Gary.
Gary. Definitely, I believe that is a lovely gesture from you, and I think we will happily take it. Thank you very much.
Oh well, you saved me from being turned into a bloody werewolf, so yeah, I should be thanking you, really. Despite everything,
We do what we can. We are heroes. But yes, and we do that posture too.
and he pays for the room.
Lovely. We can also perhaps join you for food later.
Oh, that'd be most agreeable. Of course, Heroes Landing's no morning ill, but I suppose its hospitality should be up to scratch. There are many a halfling round here, so I guess we'll be in here, and yeah, come join us whenever.
Lovely. That sounds good. Excuse me a moment. I have to talk to some as a sort of pre-arranged meeting.
Oh, but of course, we won't stand in the way of heroes doing their good work. All right, so you get a leave. So I just had a bit of a problem with the webcam, but nothing I can do about that at this stage. It's just dropped a little bit. We can still see everyone, so it's all good. Anyway, okay. So you are you heading out, Marshall?
Now there was something in the recap that I missed the vital information from, which is what I meant to do with the orc.
Okay, so you I'll tell you what, make a history check for me.
Cool. That is 16.
Okay, so you recall that your task with the crystal ball, should you choose to accept it, was to give it back to return it to its owner, which is the sister of the fortune teller, who apparently wanders the half road, which is on your way back to Hilberg. You may well come across her, and that in doing so, your patron, the Lady Aranth, would know. The fortune teller seemed to have an unearthly knowledge about an insight into yourself and your motivations, and that seemed to strike a chord with you.
Yeah, I think I got all that. Return it to the sister of the fortune teller who lives on the road.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So I don't need to. Well, I'll still see if I can drop by fortune teller lady and say I achieved a goal.
Sorry, say that again.
I still drop by the fortune teller and let her know that I'm sort of 50% along the task.
Of course. Yeah, and make a perception check for me.
Am I coming through? Okay.
Yep. Could you make a perception check, please?
Okay. Yes, that is a 17.
17. Looking about the bar, she doesn't appear to be in sight there. Doesn't seem to be out in the main area of the bar that you can tell.
Okay. I'll ask Delta.
Yeah.
If her mother. Is
Well,
about.
I mean, she was here this morning. She does like to go wandering sometimes, though. I don't ask because it's normally after some fanciful thing. I mean, she may be out on the. Mind you, it's getting late now. She may be out on the road. If you do see her outside, though, please tell her to come back to the inn. You know, it's getting late.
Yes. Am I frozen? I'm frozen again. Good.
So yeah, she doesn't know where she is. Essentially. Okay, so with that, so you have no further leads on where she is currently. So what we'll do, we'll get back to you because I think you're having some issues. We'll switch over to Brucon. So Brucon, you are after you've meditated at the altar, so best part of an hour, centered yourself. You see that in the time that you've been doing so, Layla has laid out various items around. Layla has laid out. Yes, gotta love it. She's burning some incense. There are various candles that seem to have been sort of ritualistically placed, deliberately placed in certain places around the altar. And she has piled a few items on the up on the altar, including a pitcher, just a glass pitcher full of water. There is some sort of a fine powder. It looks like perhaps it was some sort of precious stone that has been ground down, like an amethyst or similar. And she, very nice. It's really creating a scene. And she, it's really the feng shui. And she scoops up this precious stone at this time, and hands it to you. Would you mind just scattering this at the feet of our three friends here?
By all means, I'm happy to. And Brucon goes and starts super enthusiastically distributing this stuff, like making it rain, basically.
Making it rain.
Yeah,
Nice.
The kind of like he's not treating this with the full reverence it probably arguably deserves.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's he's giving it his all. He's trying.
He's really going for it. That's fair. All right. So you do so. Just like really, and like start sprinkling. Maybe a bit overly generous with the amethyst at first, and then you have to kind of scoop up some from the first pile to then put more in the third pile, which is looking a bit thin on the ground. And Layla just kind of watches you doing this as she sort of starts
leading the blind vibe emerging from the execution of this ritual.
she smiles over at you. She's just seems to be muttering a very quiet prayer as she sort of gazes into the water. And you notice the water itself starts to ripple, just as she's muttering this, even though it was still beforehand as she held it, then starts to move unnaturally. Bar the doors, if you would, Mr. Brucon.
Certainly.
And once you have closed there's only one door, fortunately.
Brucon takes the opportunity to give the collapsible rod a little workout. It kind of goes within 10 feet of the door, deploys the rod, and then uses it to kind of put the bar in place and goes, yes, this is extremely handy. Just kind of like going around going, I have a 10-foot pole that extends whenever I want it to. I'm now going to do unbelievably mundane things that I could easily do just normally with this pole, just because.
It sounds like Brucon has been self-isolating for far too long. Had to get one in there.
Just possibly a little bit.
And as Layla sort of observes you doing this, she quips, just be sure that it doesn't extend when you don't want it to, Mr. Brucon. That is, that is a common problem, I've heard.
Oh shit! so Brucon sort of cocks his head and goes, "No, I don't think there's much risk of that, but thanks anyway."
Excellent. Right. Now, the final stage. I need you to join hands with me and just follow me in a prayer, if you would. So I need Brucon to make a religion check, please.
Okay, well, that's certain to go swimmingly.
I feel like that's just the first religion check we've done. We've met as God. And I feel
Sure,
like
No, there have been religion checks. Yeah.
most of them was.
There's definitely been some religion checks before. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, religion check,
But
here
we
go.
need to do it more. You're right.
100% in the hands of Gamblor, the luck god here. Let's see what we're up to. 6.
6. All right.
6 plus nothing. 6.
So as Layla notices that you're kind of faltering with your speech as you try to copy the words that she's saying, but they seem to be partially in a language you don't speak, so you're kind of mumbling your way through.
Any chance we could sort of would it be possible to substitute in lieu of religion performance on the grounds that Brucon is emulating?
I'll tell you what. Yeah, that seems fair enough. Actually, do you want to roll again
In that case,
then?
the result was 10 instead of. No, I was just going to say that.
Oh, okay.
A bonus instead of the jack shit bonus that I had.
So with 10, yeah. So you're again. So you're muttering along. You're not entirely sure what you're saying, but you seem to be emulating her
Fake it.
pretty well. That seems to work. That's how I go about my life.
The public school, you could build an entire life on this basis. It's fine.
Living proof. Anyway, you do so, and she passes the water across, pouring a bit on. Sorry. Pours water over each of the people's head individually, and you see ever so briefly a sort of a bluish kind of glow appear from the water as it passes onto them. Once the ritual is over, maybe 10 or so minutes later, she looks to you and just nods and thanks you for assisting. This should be
It was nothing, really. Honestly, I have no idea what it was I just did.
well, many hands make light work, so I've heard. Anyway, but also you can reach a lot higher than me, given you're at least a foot taller, so it's always useful, especially for those high shelves. Anyway, I have given my blessings upon these three. Hopefully this will aid them in what's to come tonight. That is all I can do. I'm going to.
So, what should we do now? Surely we
Well,
Or do they just get the run of the place for the night?
well, we could try squeezing them into the vestry, I suppose, but it might be a bit cramped for them. There's only 2 of us, and there's 3 of them, so. But I wouldn't want to treat anyone badly, but I mean, would the rest of you be happy with that? What?
I think that our main concern is just making sure that nobody is seriously injured or killed by our unfortunate compatriots here. So anything we can do to reduce the chances of that seems preferable, really.
There is only one door.
Are there windows in the room? Like,
There are some windows, yes. Just very thin, tall windows. They're more like, they're wider than arrow slits,
not really
but
viable escape routes then.
not particularly. No, the doors seem like the double doors seem like the only way in or out. However, Layla kind of notes. Well, the vestry, I suppose, has only one door, and were they to break through there, of course, maybe we could then stop them in this area. However, I'm not adept at fighting. It's not really my line of work, as I'm sure you can understand.
Happily, it's just about the only thing in my life I've ever been remotely good at. So, tell you what, here's a thought: you go and put yourself in the vestry. Then that seems like the safest place for you to be. And I'll park up here, and should our friends get a little frisky, then I'll be there to intervene in some capacity. How does that sound?
Oh, well, that sounds most agreeable, Mr. Brucon. But surely, should the worst happen, that puts you immediately in danger.
Yeah, but I didn't become a traveller and quester after glory and the levity of the balance to sit around while other people put themselves in danger on my behalf. That's what I'm here for. It's really the only thing that gives my life any kind of meaning, honestly. It's fine.
1,000 blessings upon you, Brucon. I didn't get your last
Can we
name.
make that official?
I'm afraid.
Bonuses sort of sense.
I'm afraid I can't. But may the Eight watch over you. And what was your last name? Sorry. Ree, Mr. Ree. And she kind of goes up to you, and she kind of has to go on her tiptoes, but she goes to like just kiss you on the cheek, and then the other cheek, and then goes to head towards the door, and turns around and then runs back over to you, and just lays her arm on your shoulder, and says, "And may the balance be forever in your favour," and cast guidance on you.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. Thank you very much.
It's what the clergymen do. They just bop guidance on people.
I noticed.
And
it's one of their finer points.
hear her locking the door to the vestry. So you're now alone with your 3 charges. So there's Greta Grouse, the male noble who within a militaristic jacket, and Fleeting Look, of course, with you as well.
Does Fleeting Look have his magical bullshit
Yes.
hammer axe thing about his person?
He does, yes.
Cool. I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to rope it up and attach it to my back.
Whoa! What are you doing?
I'm taking his weapon.
No, he's asking you. Sorry, the Fleeting Look just kind of
Oh,
like
right.
snatches, like
Oh,
recoils
sorry,
away.
I thought they were unconscious.
No, they're
Sorry.
conscious. Yes. Oh, yeah, they're awake. They're aware of what's happening.
Brucon. Sorry. Okay. Well, minor retcon on that one.
Okay.
Brucon turns to Fleeting Look and says, hang on 1 second. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Says, so Mr. Look, hope you don't take this in the wrong way, but just on the off chance that you do turn into a ravenous, slavering, murderous beast, the kind of which people have told stories about to frighten their children for generations, could I have your weapon, please? Just as a precautionary measure.
Well, okay. I guess, fair fan of dwarves. Yeah, fine. Just give it back later.
Yeah, of course. Believe me, I have no designs on this item. I'm merely seeking to reduce the likelihood of me getting horrendously electrocuted in the course of tonight's events.
Of course.
Now, pull out one of the 9 billion feet of rope that Brucon has about his person and strap this thing onto his back.
Yep, no problem at all. And Fleeting just kind of has a moment, just looks at the other two and then up at you. So we're all cursed, aren't we? That sucks. But I was wondering, do you know what the collective noun would be for a group of cursed individuals?
That's an excellent question. I suggest we take the next 8 or so hours to really workshop all of the possibilities, just really explore every potential.
I think I just broke the players there. Oh, great.
It's been too long. We were overdue a collective noun.
It's true. It's true. Recycling that humour.
Indeed. Callback.
Gotta love those callbacks. Great. And anyway.
One other thing.
Yep.
Now I'm going to scan the room for. So how the windows you mentioned.
Yes.
How high up are they?
Well, you see, the room's kind of conical shaped. So they're sloped up towards the ceiling. The ceiling itself is roughly about sort of, I guess, between 12 and 14 feet at its peak.
And the windows are close to the ceiling.
Yeah, they go most of the way up to the ceiling. They maybe stop about from your side, maybe a couple of feet before the center.
Okay. That'll and how far apart are they spaced actually?
Equally spaced, couple of meters apart.
Couple of meters. Okay.
So I've combined feet and meters. But sorry, about 6 feet apart.
You're British. It's what we do. Okay. And any other features? Like you say, hang on. So it's conical. So how far apart are the walls at the sort of topmost point? How fine a point does it come to? Is it literally to a point, or is it?
Yeah, it seems to be a point, and it seems that the ceiling, it just kind of follows the outside of the building. There's not like a loft.
And the top of the point, you say about 14 feet off the ground. Oh, perfect, brilliant. Yeah, cool.
And the raised bit with the altar in the center kind of makes the gap to the ceiling about 12 feet.
Yep, fab. Okay, Brucon grabs a seat and pulls out a pack of cards and goes, "Oh, anybody up for a hand of poker?"
Oh, yeah, I would have a party, yeah. Greta comes over straight away. Fleeting
Yes,
look.
I thought you might be interested. We could possibly explore some additional rules in your case, madam, if you'd be agreeable. But let's make sure everyone else is interested first of all.
Fleeting look just kind of reaches into his pocket and goes, I prefer dice, if you have any dice games.
I'm sure we can come up with something.
I've only got one die, but...
hang on. So, wait a moment. Yes, of course. Craps. Classic.
Excellent. And the third guy doesn't come over in the military jacket, but you do make a perception check for me. No, yeah. I was about to say passive perception, and then I went, no. Make a perception check.
Passive perception is 13. A perception check.
Because you are listening, I was trying to decide.
Yeah. Well, the perception check I just rolled comes out looking something like. Oh no, sorry. I thought the cable had more give in it than that. Natural 20.
Hey. Okay.
Boo, 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 boo.
Okay. So that will be enough. You hear a slight sort of dragging sound of metal on metal.
Metal on metal.
Yep. Shh.
Interesting. Oh right, coming from the dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Has he got his back turned?
Yep.
Okay. Brucon sort of leans back, cranes his head, and sort of is either of Greta or Fleeting in a position maybe able to slightly better see what he's up to?
They've roughly got the same sight line as you, but they'll have a look. Greta kind of pipes up. He has something in his hand. I can't see what it is.
I wouldn't worry about it, madam. I imagine he's tending to his equipment, so to speak. That's not a euphemism, by the way. Or, well, maybe it is, but anyway, I'm sure it's fine.
And you hear him. In this moment, you hear him say, just to himself. He seems to be very emotional, on the edge of tears or something else. I will not live a monster. I will die a man.
Oh.
And you see protruding out from his back, exploding out from his back, a blade, that of the longsword, that has been lit. This was the gift that he was going to give to you guys. He has instead committed. He was going to give to Lord Belvedere, but instead it didn't happen. Stabs himself with it.
And is it silvered?
No, but it is a magical sword.
Oh, it is magical.
It's got light emanating from it.
Right. Okay.
So just runs himself through with it, and withdraws the dagger. Withdraws the sword, and entrails and other body parts start falling out from his stomach. He collapses to the floor.
Bro. All right. Brucon bounces up, rushes over. Does medicine check? Should we say is he like? I want to get is he fading fast or is he?
Yeah. Sure. Go for it.
One shot KO. So medicine. 18.
18. Yeah, this guy. He's not going to make it. This is serious. He's gutted himself.
Right. Okay. Split at the moment. Split second decision. Gonna have to fall back on basic character beats. Brucon will pull one of the 2 potions of healing that he has about his person out and dump it down the guy's throat.
Okay.
But first, pull out the sword and put it a little distance away from this guy, and then resume force feeding healing potion.
No worries. Yeah, can do. So roll healing with a healing potion.
Yeah, how does healing work with a healing potion?
2d4 plus 2.
2d4 plus 2. That gives us 5.
5. He gets 5 hit points back. The wound sort of starts closing up, and he looks up at you. He's still not in a good way, and sort of blood round his mouth. And he says, "Please let me die with my dignity."
Well, first of all, I'm sat here observing you now, and I've got to tell you, dignity and this situation right here, not even close, my friend. Not even within the same continent as one another. So on that score, if anything, I'm doing you a favour. But also, suicide is a permanent solution. I beg your pardon, to a temporary problem. In this case, it's a very specific temporary problem, which is that you are cursed with lycanthropy, and I can absolutely flat out guarantee you that this is not a situation we're going to allow to continue. So I'm afraid, my friend, you're just going to have to tough this one out. It's a rough situation. None of us want to be here particularly. my friend over there is mostly using. He's asking about collective nouns, which I've known him long enough to be able to tell you is his coping mechanism. That's a man in deep psychological pain at this moment. But you see him, he's hanging in there, and I'm going to need you to dig deep inside yourself. Tell me, friend, what's your name?
I was once. Can you make a persuasion check before I forget?
Yeah, sure. Natural 20 again.
Oh my
For
god,
real.
this is ridiculous. It's ridiculousness. But still, excellent. All right.
By all means, James, keep typing stuff in the private chat channel. It's just fueling me being better at this, man. Bring it on. Yeah, there you go. That's right. That's correct. Brucon on all the damn helplines. Absolutely.
All right. So he kind of looks at your eyes and says, I was once Captain Mandeville. I was stationed the Bureaucrat Navy. I was a serving man. I served in the military. I did my duty. I was then awarded for my service with a township to a senatorial position, but I was respected. You know, I did everything by my own terms. I didn't.
Brucon's completely in the zone here, man. Don't mind me.
I was just wondering what was being written. I was like, what's going on here?
So no, there's nothing about being written. Dan just.
We were
deeply
laughing at Dan.
drama.
Oh, I didn't even see Dan.
So DK just sort of rose from behind.
Yeah, he just did an Undertaker recovery.
Brilliant.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
Anyway, yes.
Please continue.
I was once a serving man, and all of my life was by my own terms. I fought many enemies. I didn't realise the biggest enemy would be within me.
We all have challenges set before us, Captain Mandeville, and I'm not going to lie to you. This has been yours is one of the more unfortunate and more taxing. I certainly won't deny that. But just to point out that when they come to write of your life and your death, if you take the coward's way out now, they're not going to write that he took the control of his own life. That you're hoping they'll say that he killed himself as a result of lycanthropy. That'll be your epitaph. That becoming a werewolf brought you low. If there's any breath in my body, and at the moment there seems to be, then all I can promise you is that I will do my level best to ensure that everybody in this room, not least of all me, does not die a werewolf.
I respect that. But if I should turn, it would be of some comfort to know that you would dispatch me in the most appropriate fashion. I do not wish to be a danger to anyone else.
Well, Captain, that's a very heartfelt request. I can assure you that you die to me or not a werewolf. Those are the only options on the table at this point. Now, you're an ex-military man. You must have gambled with your time. Come on, let's play some craps.
Okay, and he goes over. Brucon, have some inspiration for talking him down. That was yes, that was good. Good reasoning, heartfelt. Yeah, talked him down. Very good. All right, just goes to show that when there's life, there's possibility. So some time goes by as you guys play cards. Now, overnight, they get to make their. The moon shines through the windows. It's not as bright or as intense as it was the previous night. It's no longer the full moon. It's close to full. And basically, due to the blessing, they got advantage on their rolls for the save, basically, to see if they turn overnight or not.
Which will only make it more frustrating when they fail them anyway.
Well, fortunately, 2 of them succeeded. Fleeting Look and Greta Grouse are fine. Captain Mandeville, however, starts turning just in front of you. He just stumbles away from the from the card game, looking very peaky. And he says, "Get away from me, please!" And you see in front of you just the transformation as he becomes the werewolf. I'm gonna need you. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna need you to make to do a initiative. Sorry, roll initiative for me, please.
Wait, who just turned into a werewolf?
Captain Mandeville, the other werewolf, the other noble person inside. Now, for the rest of you, aside from Naeris, sorry, Marta. If you guys, I guess you would be sort of waiting around for BrewCon, or were you just going to be going back to the inn overnight?
Staying in the inn after Malar got back and taking the crate with the doppelganger in it up to the room to keep an eye on it still.
Okay, great.
We just want to sleep the night and travel in the day.
Yep. So you get it securely into the room, no problems at all. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to do overnight before we finish tonight with BrewCon and the werewolf encounter?
Yeah,
no?
we want a long rest. We
Yeah.
have a nice
Have your long rest.
long rest.
Yeah. I'm sorry about this, but obviously it's how it's transpired. It makes
At some
sense.
point, the Ebron would want to try and find the old lady, but based on the fact that it's night time, we can probably do that tomorrow.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, yeah, that sounds like a good plan to do in the morning. Okay, BrewCon, what did you get on your initiative?
Well, I rolled a 16. It seems to me that now might not be the worst time to call this here, just because leaving everyone spectating.
Agreed.
While I duke it out with a sole werewolf does not seem like
the best.
session.
Exactly.
But
So
16
you got
16.
16. Great. I'll just take the initiatives now, and then we'll just launch straight in next time, I think. Great. Okay.
Beating a werewolf, or is he fighting?
He's fighting. So hopefully, if Dan can make it next time, he's in. Otherwise, I can get one of you guys to maybe pilot him. That'd be cool.
We take him for one round. We just go round the circle. Who controls?
Great. Okay. Okay. We will. So we will pick things up there for next time. Then. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. I'm sorry it was a bit bitty going between different things that were going on, but these things happen sometimes in sessions.
It was a bit of a test run.
Yeah.
But given that it was a test run, and the first time we've done this in live fire conditions, I'd say went pretty well.
I think it went pretty well.
Yeah, I don't think we had too many issues there. I think the combat thing worked as well. With you, Marta, I think that looked okay.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not a problem if we just have to double check.
Yeah.
Fine.
Of course, yeah, no worries. I think I sense basically that it's going to be the same as it was before, but maybe we just have to slow the pace down a little bit because we have to obviously, we're having to communicate separately rather than all at once, and so the flow is a bit slower. But you know what? I think it's making the best of a bad situation. I think we're this looks good for next time. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight, and thank you guys for discording with me tonight. I'll be back on Friday to sort of give my thoughts on how things have been going with the webcam stuff and remote play and other sort of things that have been more sort of focused on the campaign, as well as trying to remember all of the NPCs' names, because you need to have those somewhere, guys.
Yeah, I do. I realized, oh crap, I have everything up.
When I say
notes from October.
When I say you need to have them, I was talking as in other DMs. Like I should have had those notes. I should have just known who they were.
This is DM stress times 9 billion to the max. This
Yeah.
format, Jack. Extreme kudos.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, but thank you guys.
And it's no issue not having the jack time.
So Arctic Jack time.
Yeah,
Very nice, Jack.
I didn't
None-
get to
none of
use this.
None of this
We've all had it
scroll
prepared.
Jack time. This is the primo shit right here.
I was just gonna say, not having notes from 5 months ago is fine. But
Thanks.
anyway, I was gonna say we're Discording now, which means we have a Discord channel that you
Yes.
can join.
Yes, you can.
It's below the streaming window.
Yes, we have a link to it. Just click on the picture that has the Discord logo on it, and it will take you directly to our Discord page. So you can come and join in the chat throughout the week, and also for anything else that we are getting up to, including throwing memes up there or satire or anything else.
I was gonna say, if you're not there for the chat, join for the meme. Just for the meme.
Do it for the meme. And
Meme Central in here.
And to be honest, while we're under quarantine conditions and stuff like that here in the UK, we may well have some new stuff coming up on the channel while I have time on my hands and no work. So there may be other streams like we did with Marta's one on Friday. We may have some new stuff coming up with that. I'll keep you posted about that. I've also got a new YouTube series, Don't Believe the Hype, which will be talking about underrated sort of classes, races, and the rest of it from Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, which I'm hoping to get the first one recorded within the week. So if you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. Again, there's a link to that on our Twitch page, so you can click on the picture, it'll take you straight there, and you can catch up on any episodes you've missed. Do it! Do it now. Anyway, until next time, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and see you next time. Stay safe.
Thank you guys. Bye
Bye.
Oh, on Sunday? Yeah, I did. Yes. Well, yeah, we did the Roll20. We used Discord for voice comms, so we didn't do video chat. I spent a frantic week learning how to use Roll20. Marshall will testify to the fact that it was not easy to begin with. But basically, I built the last 4 dungeons for Princes of the Apocalypse. So in theory, that's now done.